Chapter 7, A Gift for You. What kind of gift did Lin Nuan have to give her?
Lin Nuan thought about last night. Fu Huai'an might have seen them together before, so she didn't try to hide it and nodded. Fu Huai'an walked to the window and said to Lin Nuan, "Come here." Lin Nuan turned to look at him, standing by the floor-to-ceiling window, and decided to come closer. Stopping next to Fu Huai'an, she looked at him and finally said, "You're not going to force Gu Hanyan anymore, are you?" After one night, Lin Nuan no longer spoke so politely to Fu Huai'an. This was a great improvement for Fu Huai'an, who smiled at the change. Fu Huai'an's dark eyes were focused on a certain spot outside the window as he reached out to pull Lin Nuan into his embrace. Shocked, Lin Nuan looked up to see Fu Huai'an's hand grabbing her shoulder, not knowing the reason for his sudden move. "You see the white facade on the right?" Fu Huai'an's magnetic voice entered Lin Nuan's ears, brushing her with his warm breath. Feeling embarrassed, Lin Nuan's ears reddened as she looked out the window on the right. "Gu Hanyan already had people watching you," Fu Huai'an spoke calmly and unconcernedly. Lin Nuan's hands curled up, her face bearing the embarrassment of having her weakness exposed, but she stubbornly said, "I know." Gu Hanyan was probably waiting for photos showing her and Fu Huai'an leaving the house together in the morning. With pictures, with evidence, once Gu Hanyan broke the case, she would have a sufficient reason and a higher position to not marry Fu Huai'an. But Gu Hanyan never considered Lin Nuan's position. Asking others and then trying to trick them, this method of management was indeed despicable. But, as long as Gu Hanyan did it for Wen Moshen, Lin Nuan put up with it. Since she had already reached this stage, Lin Nuan suddenly had the courage to ask, "Mr. Fu, can I replace Gu Hanyan now? How do you want to replace her?" Fu Huai'an did not let go of Lin Nuan's shoulder. Fu Huai'an was an unsmiling man, but at this moment, he was smiling at Lin Nuan, his dark eyes revealing an indecipherable depth as the golden light of the morning illuminated them. "As Gu Hanyan wishes, or correctly." Fu Huai'an gave Lin Nuan the option to choose. For a woman like Lin Nuan who had an outstanding physique, no matter which man she stood with, she would always attract others. This was exactly what Gu Hanyan wanted to use. But Lin Nuan didn't like the way Gu Hanyan handled things. Currently, Lin Nuan was still a child of the Lin family. Lin Nuan, who had always followed the rules and had become the model of a proper lady from a well-known family. If a scandal broke out about her kidnapping someone else's fiancé, how could she face her parents who raised her? These are all questions that Gu Hanyan had never considered for Lin Nuan. Even before Fu Huai'an gave her the choice, Lin Nuan had never thought about her. Since Gu Hanyan's request had already been fulfilled, why did Lin Nuan have to continue on the path that Gu Hanyan had laid out? Lin Nuan's gaze remained fixed on the facade, her lips parted and she said, "Correctly." The corner of Fu Huai'an's lips lifted further, and he said, "Let me give you a gift." "Ha!" Lin Nuan let out a sound of perplexity. "Since you don't want to see Wen Moshen's beloved wife marry other people, then I'll make it so that Wen Moshen's wife can't marry anyone else from now on. She can just obediently wait for Wen Moshen." What kind of gift was this? Lin Nuan surmised with some malice that it probably stemmed from the need to take revenge on his self-esteem as a man. Lin Nuan watched Fu Huai'an turn around, taking off her robe to change. She turned back in panic, then covered her clumsiness with a slight cough and said, "I'll go back to the guest room first." The moment Lin Nuan opened the door, she saw Auntie Li carrying a sleeping Tuan Tuan out of her room. Tuan Tuan wore one-piece pajamas with a cartoon bear theme. While clinging to Auntie Li's shoulder, the bear-shaped hood covered her small head. Her small, clear and sweet face rested on Auntie Li's shoulder, her chubby right cheek pressing down.
Chapter 8, Sit Next to Mom. Seeing Lin Nuan's eyes open wide, Auntie Li thought it was his mother.
Early in the morning, Lin Nuan, coming out of the master bedroom as a guest, was even seen by Auntie Li. It was really embarrassing. Lin Nuan gave an embarrassed smile, but before she could open her mouth to greet Auntie Li, Tuan's previously sleepy eyes opened wide. He suddenly straightened his small back excitedly, and his watery eyes sparkled as he shouted, "Mom!" Even though she had heard Tuan call her that many times before, Lin Nuan was still not used to it. Seeing Lin Nuan frozen on the spot, Tuan dismounted from Auntie Li using her 4 limbs, then ran cutely towards her. Like a little bear cub. Tuan had become smarter. He didn't hug Lin Nuan like he did last time. He knew that if he did, he would scare his mother. Tuan simply stood at Lin Nuan's feet, raising his head to stare at Lin Nuan for a long time. Tuan was a very pretty little boy. His features were completely different from Huai'an. Tuan's eyes were round and large, black and bright, unlike Huai'an's dark and long narrow eyes. The little boy standing in front of Lin Nuan had softer features. Delicate and adorable, like a little lady. Lin Nuan guessed that Tuan probably looked more like his mother. Have you had breakfast?" asked Lin Nuan. Lacking experience in interacting with children, Lin Nuan's voice was dry and awkward. When faced with a child calling her mommy, Lin Nuan panicked more than when she interacted with Huai'an. Tuan obediently shook her head. "Miss Lin, you can accompany Tuan to go eat. Breakfast is already prepared." Auntie Li smiled as she spoke. Auntie Li had been taking care of Tuan for years, but she had never seen Tuan's mother. Ever since Tuan met Lin Nuan, he firmly called her his mother, which led Auntie Li to be suspicious. After seeing Lin Nuan come out of Huai'an's room today, in her heart, Auntie Li believed more firmly that Lin Nuan was Tuan's mother. "Then, let's go," Lin Nuan said to Tuan. Tuan angrily shook his head. Tuan didn't dare to grab Lin Nuan's hand, so he quickly walked beside her instead. Walking down the stairs, Lin Nuan held out his beautiful hand to Tuan, which made his eyes shine even more. Originally, he wanted to put his small hand on Lin Nuan's palm, but he was afraid she would reject him. So he cautiously grabbed onto Lin Nuan's index finger, gripping it tightly with his warm fist. He looked up and smiled gently at her. Tuan had never felt so happy. Dad said that Mom was the most beautiful person on earth. Yes. His mother was the most beautiful person he had ever seen. Even her fingers were so pretty, just like his. Downstairs at the dining table, Auntie Li was about to place Tuan in his high chair, but he ran to Lin Nuan's side. With his 2 chubby arms, one hand leaned on the chair while the other clung to the edge of the table, he lifted his legs to climb onto the chair with some effort and obediently sat down next to Lin Nuan. He then placed both hands on his thighs in a benevolent manner. He looked up at Lin Nuan, who was pulling his chair to sit down, just like a little pug trying to please his master. Auntie Li smiled at this sight and asked in a soft voice, "Does Tuan want to sit next to Miss Lin?" Tuan nodded her head strongly and said, "N. Sit next to Mom." Regarding being called Mama, Lin Nuan was still not used to it. She had already found a consensus with Huai'an. She couldn't deny it, but she couldn't accept it immediately. The corner of her lips turned up in an embarrassed smile. "So, Tuan's breakfast, I'll bring it to you," said Auntie Li, whose smile became brighter and brighter. Tuan nodded his head. Lin Nuan sat next to Tuan and looked at him.
Chapter 9, in Haicheng. Everyone knows. Why did Lin Nuan's biological father send his own daughter to Haicheng?
Auntie Li brought Tuan's nutritious breakfast and placed it in front of him. The dining table was too high for Tuan. Even though he used his hands to hold on to the edge of the table, he could barely glance at it. Lin Nuan passed the cup of milk to Tuan. He held the cup close to him and quickly finished the milk before turning to look at Lin Nuan with his bright, sparkling eyes. Tuan didn't speak much, and he kept staring at Lin Nuan, as if he was afraid he would scare her away if he started to speak. Lin Nuan took the empty cup from Tuan's hands and picked up a bowl with a steamed egg. The bowl containing the egg was rather hot, so Lin Nuan did not pass it directly to Tuan. Instead, she took a spoonful and put it in Tuan's mouth. Tuan, both surprised and nervous, stretched his neck to take a bite. His chubby hand clung tightly to the edge of the table as he ate the food Lin Nuan gave him in small bites. When Huai'an came down the stairs, this was the scene he saw. Tuan, who was not as high as the table, was sitting close to Lin Nuan. With both hands clutching the table, he happily raised his head, waiting for Lin Nuan to give him food. Huai'an buttoned his sleeves as he calmly walked down the stairs. "Sir." Auntie Li greeted Huai'an. Huai'an sat down. In order not to disturb the family of three, who were having breakfast in peace, Auntie Li silently retreated. "Dad." Tuan happily called Huai'an. Huai'an's expression remains normal and he pulls out a chair to sit down. Taking the newspaper that Auntie Li had left on the dining table, he began to read calmly, as if the scene in front of him was normal, and he was used to it. "This afternoon at 4 o'clock, I will make a trip to the Lins and officially meet your parents. That way we can get the marriage certificate in the morning. I'm leaving on a business trip abroad tomorrow night, and Auntie Li has something to take care of at home, so she'll take the day off starting this afternoon. These few days while I'm abroad, I'll leave you to take care of Tuan. Huai'an's voice was neutral, and he arranged everything in a few sentences, clearly leaving no room for Lin Nuan to object. At the mention of the Lin family, Lin Nuan stopped in the middle of the egg soup he was feeding Tuan. Tuan opened his mouth but saw that Lin Nuan was not passing him the egg soup. He did not complain, he only raised his head to look at Lin Nuan obediently. Huai'an's gaze never turned away from the paper, his voice was calm and he said, "Your passport is still with Lin. If we want to get our marriage certificate, it is inevitable to visit the Lins." Lin Nuan looked at Huai'an's profile and asked, "Have you investigated me?" Huai'an looked deeply at Lin Nuan and replied, "Haicheng. It's not a secret here. Everyone knows it." Indeed, the people of Haicheng all knew about it. Lin Nuan was once a model lady from a well-known rich family, but then she became a fake lady whom everyone pitied. Everyone in Haicheng knew Lin Nuan's parents, a mentally ill biological mother and a selfish biological father. That year, Haicheng experienced an earthquake and the Lin family accidentally lost track of their newborn daughter. Father Lin thought his daughter was already dead, but Mother Lin would not give up and kept searching. Lin Nuan's biological mother gave birth to her daughter on the same day as Mrs. Lin. At the time of the incident, when Lin Nuan's biological father rescued his own daughter from the baby shower room, he also rescued the little girl next to her. After 3 months, the Lin family finally found the couple who saved their daughter. This couple was Lin Nuan's biological parents. The Lin family felt extremely grateful to Lin Nuan's biological parents and took their daughter back. Who would have thought that Lin Nuan's biological father would send his own daughter to the Lins to live a rich life, while he kept the real daughter of the Lin family to suffer in poverty with them?